afternoon, Free From community, and welcome to our last session of our Free From an Allergy Aussie Edition virtual show. We've been so pleased to work with Free From an Allergy to bring you this virtual show, and we hope you found the content shared this week informative and helpful. We're so excited to be ending our virtual show with this special guest, Coles ambassador and former MasterChef contestant, Courtney Ralston. Courtney first rose to fame after finishing as a finalist on season 2 of MasterChef Australia in 2010 and has worked as head chef for the Sydney Swans AFL team to create wholesome meals for the players and support staff. Courtney has proudly represented Coles supermarkets as an ambassador, participating in various events, and now hosts the very popular Network 10 cooking series Farm to Fork, which focuses on Aussie farmers and seasonal produce. Hi Courtney, and thank you for joining me today. I'm really excited to show the community just how easy it is to cook with substitutes with you.
Thanks, Sarah. It's great to be here. I love being part of all of these shows. I think, you know, awareness around allergies is just becoming better and better every year. There's more and more products. Obviously, I'm here as a Coles ambassador, but also I'm just someone that loves cooking, you know, and I love the joy that food can bring. So I love coming up with some solutions to make sure, you know, even if people do have intolerances, that we've got lots of options for people to enjoy delicious meals at home. So excited to be here. I'm always very excited to be cooking. So Sarah, I've heard a little bit of a background on your daughter Bella and her intolerances, and we're going to cook a dish together. And I know you've got some substitutes and some alternatives. So you're doing a vegan recipe, is that correct?
Yes, I'm vegan alternative.
Okay, so the recipe I've come up with, and I guess with the kind of top 8 allergens that were not allowed, that I was given, so no eggs, pardon me, no eggs, no wheat, no fish, no shellfish, no nuts or tree nuts, no milk, no soy, that's right. So I had to put my thinking cap on, and obviously we want a quick midweek stir fry for people to have at home. So I've come up with a lemongrass lamb rice noodle stir fry. So it's got lots of flavour. No one's going to think they're missing out on anything. But I think I've avoided those top 8 allergens in my recipe. So I'll run through what I'm using and then you can run through yours and then maybe we'll get on to the cooking. The rice noodle I'm using these brown rice noodles. They're from the Wellness Road range. There's some chia seeds in them, which have lots of omega-3s. Obviously, they've got a nice slippery texture. They're great for cooking and for stir fries. So I'm using rice noodles. I've got some lamb mince. It's, you know, affordable. It's quick cooking, but you could use any mince or even some tofu or mushrooms. You know, you don't have to use lamb mince. I just think it's got lots of flavour. I'm going to make a spice paste up. So obviously avoiding soy sauce for a stir fry at first I thought was quite tricky. But then I've come up with a bit of almost like a really simple the base of a green curry paste. So I've got some lemongrass, ginger, some French shallots and a green chilli and the stems of some coriander in a jug. Going to add some spices to them, cook off the spice paste, put in the lamb mince, put in our noodles, and then I'm just going to tone it down a little bit with some coconut milk. So I'm keeping this dairy-free. So it's quick and easy. All the ingredients are available in at Coles, which makes life easy. I think 10 years ago, you'd have to kind of run around to all different health stores and health shops to get these products. So it's all conveniently in one aisle in at Coles. I should mention I'm using some tamarind as well. I know Sarah Bella can't have lime or any fruit. So to get a bit of sweet and sour, I've got some tamarind and some maple syrup. That's my recipe. So Sarah, do you want to quickly run us through what you're cooking?
Yeah, so I'm going to follow pretty much the same spice paste that you've come up with. And I think you mentioned I could have substituted with vinegar. I've got that here, but I did actually buy the tamarind because Bella's has had that before, so she's going to have that. And we're using mushrooms.
Delicious, love them.
Bella loves these. And I'm using sugar snap peas and some broccoli. Depending on if I had these as well in the crisper, so I might use them if I have time to chop them up.
I'm all about crisp grade. I'm all about using up whatever you've got at hand. I should mention the vegetables I'm using are green beans and zucchinis, but I know Bella can't have zucchinis. But I think the thing that I've taken from doing all of these shows with the Free From an Allergy community is, even though there's a guide for people with intolerances, probably no two people are the same. Everyone's allergies are a little bit different foods set them off. So people at home can tweak this to the vegetables they can eat. If someone doesn't like chili, or you can't eat chili, just leave it out of the recipe. So obviously we encourage people at home to tweak these recipes to suit their allergies as well.
Exactly what we've had to do all along, and some of it also comes down to preferences. Like for instance, Bella zucchini, she has an aversion to things that have little seeds and stuff in them, so she just doesn't like zucchini at all and won't have it. Green beans make her sick, so that's why we use this sugar snow peas. And
yeah.
I should just add, with us, I'm going to use wheat noodles because Bella actually can eat wheat. So she actually never used to be able to. She used to not be able to have wheat or corn for most of her childhood when she was younger. And it was really challenging when she was gluten-free and corn-free. But now she can have wheat. The last few years ago, she outgrew that allergy that was linked to her EOE, which is great. So I wanted to include them for her because now she can eat wheat. She wants to eat it, but she definitely used to rice noodles all the time when she was younger.
Yeah, and I think that even people that may have an allergy to something now, they could outgrow. So the recipes are a guide. We're just hoping to give some people a bit of inspiration on what they can eat rather than focusing on the long list of things that they can't eat at home. So should we fire up the wok, Sarah, and we'll get on to some cooking?
Yes.
And I'm saying wok, you could do this in a fry pan. A wok gets nice and hot. So I'm going to get my wok heating up on a medium temperature now just to get it going. So Sarah, we're going to kick off with the spice paste. So in a jar here, I'm using a stick blender, but if anyone's got like a NutriBullet or a Thermomix, any blender that is going to blitz this up. I've got a lemongrass stalk, just the white part, and I've roughly chopped that up. I've got a tablespoon of fresh ginger, and I've just peeled that and roughly chopped it up. I've got a large French or sweet shallot. So a little sweet shallot like that that's about the size of a golf ball. You could use half a white onion if you didn't have these. I've got a long green chilli in there for heat. I like heat. If you don't like chilli, you can leave it out. I'm using the stems of the coriander. So from the root parts, you can leave the stalks, and the leaves are for garnish. So this middle section here, wash it and pop those in the jar. I've also got some tamarind for some sour. You could use lemon, lime, or vinegar. A tablespoon of that. A tablespoon of our Coles Finest maple syrup. And I'm going to use a teaspoon each of ground cumin, ground coriander, and ground turmeric. It's a little bit like a partridge in a pear tree. There's a lot of ingredients, but we need them all. So Sarah, what's in your spice paste? I'm just going to put my dry spices in while you run us through what's in yours.
Well, I put all the exact same in, except I had just bought a jar of lemongrass, but I couldn't find it. And I also don't have fresh chili, so I had a little bit of just a little bit of the dry chili powder. So I've got mine in here. You can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then, so I've added a tiny dash of oil into my spice paste just to help it blend. But I see you've got a high-powered blender. A pinch of salt. So obviously we're avoiding, this is almost like a Luxor paste I've got in here, but traditionally you get either like a fish paste, a shrimp paste, or a fish sauce. Obviously with today's allergy that we're highlighting, we don't want to have any fish in the recipe. So I'm just using a pinch of salt to replace the fish sauce that you traditionally get in a paste like this. So a bit of noisy stuff, Sarah. I'm just going to hit this with my stick blender and I'll let you blend your paste at home. So for anyone at home, everyone's blenders are going to be different. So you can just add a little bit of water or some oil in. But this here is a basic spice mix that you can make and have in the fridge for about 2 weeks. So behind me here, you'll see lots of other Coles products. You could use this as a base for a curry. So we're making a stir fry today, so making it quite dry. But if people at home wanted to add some vegetable or chicken stock in to this spice paste, and some noodles. You could make a laksa, you could make like a green curry and serve it with the Coles quinoa. There's loads of other things. We've got like Coles have, these are brand new. I'm actually wanting to try these. Lentil and pea, they're made from lentils and peas. So they look like rice, but they're made from cauliflower and peas. And you could put this spice paste in there and make almost like a curried paella with like chicken and stuff in it. So obviously it's one recipe today, but we want to give people a few other options to make some other recipes. So Sarah, with the noodles, as I mentioned, I'm using these brown rice noodles. They're made from brown rice and chia seed. That's all that's in them, 2 ingredients. And I've got some hot water in a bowl. I'm just going to put the whole packet in there just to soften down. For a stir fry, you don't need like rapidly boiling water. We just want to soften these down because they are going to get a second heat when we put them into stir fry. So I'm just going to set them aside to kind of soften down for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So you've got, what have you got, like a Singapore noodle, Sarah, or
Hokkien noodles?
Hokkien noodles, yeah, nice. And I'm using these noodles. You can also get these in, they make them in red as well, so from red rice. Something funky, nice and colourful, obviously very healthy, and they've got the nice little bit of texture from the chia seeds in them as well. So my wok's heating up, Sarah, and our thing we're going to do is to fry off the spice paste. You won't need all of it for this recipe. A couple of tablespoons can go in, and we want to get a couple of tablespoons of our spice paste in. So I'm doing a noodle stir fry. You could serve this as a regular stir fry with rice, with some rice, sorry, or some steamed quinoa as well. There's lots of options. You could twist this recipe into a few different recipes. So a couple of tablespoons of our spice paste.
Oil in first.
And you want to cook the spice paste first. You want to release all the flavour and the aromatics. It smells so good already.
I was just saying, you'll have more leftovers for next week of the spice paste.
Yes, and you could freeze this as well. If people don't want to use it this week, you can freeze it in a little Ziploc bag, and you can just have it in the freezer ready to go. I think the thing when you're, and Sarah, you would know like better than anybody, that dealing with allergies, like making your own food at home from scratch is probably a lifesaver. Often, if you wanted to buy a pre-made curry paste, it would probably contain milk, probably contain soy, it would probably have fish sauce in it. There'd be lots of things that people dealing with allergies would be having to avoid. So I think making things at home like this is really easy. That only took us 5 or 6 minutes to make the paste, and you know exactly everything that's in it. And you can also tweak it if there's things you can't eat in there.
So ready to put in the mushrooms now, or the next thing?
Yes, so next thing I'm going in with my mince. Obviously the mince is going to take longer than your mushrooms, but I'm using lamb mince.
Yeah, lamb mince is one of the least allergenic meats.
So you could use anything, sliced chicken, tofu, pork mince, anything that you like. All you want to do is brown off the mince with that spice paste. It might take probably 5 minutes for me with my mince, and Sarah, your mushrooms, they can take a bit of cooking. So I would say 5 or 6 have the beef browned off. And
I'm super excited about this mushroom medley mix. It looks great. I was going to say, I normally would put my broccoli in now because it takes a bit longer.
Yes, you can put, if you're using harder vegetables like carrot, cauliflower, broccoli, they can go in now. I'm using softer vegetables like zucchinis and beans. I don't mind a bit of crunch in. So people at home will just have to adjust the timings. But yeah, if you're using hard vegetables, now's the time to put them in. So I'll put this lamb mince back on.
Cool. Do you ever use a lid when you stir fry?
I don't usually use a lid to stir fry. I find just putting a dash of water in out of the kettle if you think your wok's looking a bit dry, rather than adding lots of oil. But if you normally put a lid on, then you can.
I'm curious as to it takes a bit longer to cook the broccoli. Looks great.
Yeah. I've just brought this around to show you. So the mince is browned off. So I've basically got like a base lamb mince curry in here. So I thought I'm a bit far away from the camera. I'll just bring it in to show everybody. Full of flavour. So now I'm going to go in with my drained noodles. So once your lamb's browned off, I'm going in with my noodles. And I'm just going to toss my noodles through, Sarah. And I'm also going to pop in, I'm using green beans that are just sliced into lengths and some zucchini that I've sliced up as well. People at home could use frozen veg, peas, any of your favourite vegetables or vegetables that you can eat can go in now.
Putting in the bok choy and the sugar snap peas, snow peas, I should say.
I love sugar snap peas. And then this is going to be a couple of minutes just to soften down the vegetables.
Looks so fresh.
Obviously, mine's not ready yet, but I'm just bringing it around to give everyone a close-up. My noodles still need to soften down a little bit, and my vegetables still need to soften down. So while that happens, I might leave that. And Sarah, if you've got everything in your wok, maybe you could give me a little bit more of a rundown. Very noisy.
I think mine's pretty much going to be there very soon.
That's what we want. I guess the idea of this is that it's a really, it's a fast and fresh midweek dinner.
And I like the idea how if you make the paste, you can just make it once and even make it double the amount and freeze some, and then you've got your own paste ready to use.
Yeah, definitely. I'll come around to chat now. I've got away from my noisy wok up. So Sarah, it sounds like you've kind of had to trial and error a lot of the stuff around Bella's intolerances, because from what I've read, there probably wasn't a lot of information around the AusEE or the EOE when you were going through it all. Do you want to just give me a quick rundown on what you've gone through and how you've navigated, Bella's intolerances and the stuff that you've kickstarted to make more awareness around it?
Yeah, sure. So Bella's 18, we just turned 18 actually last Friday, and I should say Saturday.
Was there a big celebration? Was there a big 18th birthday party?
It was the same day lockdown started.
Oh, that's one way to celebrate your 18th.
Plans got cancelled. But we did. So that's why we did celebrate a little bit on Friday the night before, which was good, and then the lockdown started. So yeah, actual birthday plans changed. But yeah, so basically she was diagnosed with eosinophilic esophagitis when she was 18 months old, and I'd never heard of it. So I just started the whole big learning curve, and then not long after that, she was also diagnosed with, because it's an allergic disease, so allergic inflammatory disease, and then she was diagnosed with also has anaphylaxis risk allergies. So just got to stir I've still got my wok on.
You're a multitasker. I can
do that. I didn't want to have a burn at the bottom or something. It looks so great. So then she's actually allergic to milk, egg, fish and chicken, and she's also a vegan by choice now. So that's why I cooked with mushroom today, but she used to eat some meat growing up. But she's doing really well on what she chooses to eat now with her allergies. But over the years, we've seen such an increased amount, especially in the last 10 years, because we've been living this allergy journey for like 17 years now. And Bella had never tried, she's never tried dairy because she's always been allergic, but the dairy alternative ice creams, the dairy alternative cheeses that are out now, they just made such a big difference. So for some who already know our journey, Bella was a bit complicated with it. She was basically formula fed for basically 14 years of her life was the majority of her diet. She grew up on potatoes and rice and then an elemental formula. She had a feeding tube in her stomach for 4 of those years. So that's why, like, I'm embracing she can eat wheat now. We can eat wheat now. We celebrate that and we use it. But we've been through such a huge journey where her diet was so restricted when she was younger, and
that's when you're younger, that's when you want to eat all those naughty things. You know, I'm horrified about how many lollies and junk that I ate growing up, you know. So it must have been tough having, you know, I'm sure at school lots of other kids eating all the things that Bella couldn't eat, and you've had to navigate around learning what she can eat. But so you've got Bella to a point now, she's 18 and she can eat regular meals. You're cooking wheat for her, you've obviously just mentioned. Yeah. You must feel like you're winning the battle.
It's a really long journey. With no two cases are the same with eosinoesophagitis. So that takes years of trial and error to find out what food you can eat, and with testing in between. The only way of being diagnosed with this is through endoscopy and biopsies. So she's had, I don't know how many she's had now, maybe, I think I've stopped counting, maybe 12 or 13 she's had over the years. And some people with the condition might have had 12 or 13 and they're only like 8 years old, you know. I only did endoscopies yearly. So that's how we know, and they can change on you, the triggers. And she developed the chicken allergy when she was younger. But so it can change for the better and for the worse. So it changed for the better with her, with being able to now we can call, which is really exciting. And in other ways, she grew more allergy. So it's just a constant going to your specialist care, because there's chronic disease, there is no cure. Which is why I started the charity back in 2009, because there was just nothing in Australia about it. And basically a labour of love for volunteer work since I started doing that, and just try to bring the community together and have support for people with the condition. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, I think there's nothing worse than feeling like you're alone on it. I take my hat off to you for awareness to all this. I'm going to come around, Sarah, and just have a little look how my stir fry is going. I know you've been keeping an eye on yours there. So with your spice paste, I'm going to add in a little dash of coconut milk just to, we've got quite a lot of punchy flavours in that spice mix, you know, lemongrass, chili, fresh ginger. You don't need a lot. I'm just going to mellow down my stir fry ever so slightly with some of the organic coconut milk from Coles. Obviously keeping it dairy free. So just put a dash in about, you know, depending on how mellow you like it. And just toss that through, and that'll give us a creaminess to the stir fry. But obviously it keeps the creaminess without dairy. This is looking good. Do you think your stir fry is close to being finished, Sarah?
It definitely is, yeah. Looks great.
I think I need to do a little taste test. Always got to taste how things are going. That is delicious. Very, very yummy. Protein, veg. We've got our little bit of carbohydrates from our noodles. I put it in a pretty bowl and I bring it around and show everybody that's been following along. If anyone wants some more recipe inspiration, obviously I've done a fair bit of work with the Free From an Allergy team. We've got recipes on the Living Free From YouTube channel that cover all different intolerances: vegan, FODMAP, gluten-free, celiac. Obviously, we're adding the OSCE one into the mix today. And also there is the Free From Allergy Community Facebook page, which also is a great place if anyone wants to share recipe tips, ideas, or just share their journey with some of the other members. So make sure you join the Facebook community page or jump onto the YouTube channel if you like the look of this recipe and you want some more recipe ideas.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at the recipes. They've been fantastic throughout the shows. And we're actually putting together a recipe book ourselves for our Aussie community.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Some of those recipes are being shared in the content section as well. You have to check them out.
There you go, fabulous.
So I've plated mine up.
You know, it's great. Obviously, we can't get together to have a in-person show, but I think, you know, it's been great navigating these virtual cook-alongs. I think it's a great way of showing. If we were doing a live show together, we'd both cook the same recipe, but I think it's great when you're in your home and I'm in my kitchen and we get to show people the tweaks of recipes to make them suitable or you know, to suit the different allergies. So there's been some positives to come out of doing these things virtually. I'm finishing off with some sesame seeds for some crunch on top.
Actually, you mentioned I could use pepita seeds, but I haven't got around to toasting.
You could use pepita seeds or sunflower seeds. Obviously, we're avoiding nuts. You could use some of the fried Asian shallots. You just want something crunchy on the top. And
Could be toasted, do you think?
Sorry?
You think I could toast these in the microwave or just have them fresh on?
You can use them untoasted or you can toast them in a dry frying pan for 4 or 5 minutes.
I might just try them.
Up to you.
Yes, sesame seeds are one of the major allergens, but not implicated in EOE necessarily. So Bella can have sesame seeds, but I thought we'd do pepita seeds for something a bit different because she likes them.
As I said, if you can't eat sesame, then sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, fried Asian shallots, or you can leave it off. I tasted it without the garnishes and it was pretty good. I'll bring these around. Here we go. This is my Coles Wellness Road brown rice chia noodle lemongrass stir fry. That's a very long name. There we have. Without all the chatting, this is a 25-minute midweek dinner. So Sarah, that's the cooking part of our little virtual cross. Have you got any other exciting things up your sleeve for the virtual show?
Yes, well, this whole week we've had all these videos shared by our medical advisory board and specialists in the field, and we had Eddie Wu, who's our charity ambassador, doing a talk as well, and starting off with the Top 8 Challenge Day, which is on the 8th of the 8th each year, and that's when we, as our charity, that's our major fundraiser where we ask people to not eat for the day the top 8 allergenic foods that are have been identified as being possible triggers in EOE. So they're the ones you mentioned earlier, the milk, the egg, the wheat, the soy, fish and shellfish, tree nuts and peanuts.
Yes.
And when we say milk, I should add there that it means all dairy products. And that's something I think sometimes people don't realise because milk is what's, when you read your ingredient label, that you're looking for, but that's in all dairy products and something we have to be careful of. Even with all the fantastic foods out there now that are labelled vegan, is that all people living with allergies like Bella with her EOE and her anaphylaxis risk allergies, we've got to read every ingredient really carefully for those allergens and avoid them to keep us safe. So yeah, Courtney, I just want to say, look, it's really been a pleasure to cook along with you today. Like I know our Free From Allergy and Aussie community, they're going to really find this session, well, I hope they will, so insightful. And they'll be no doubt inspired to like lift some of their chefs, because I know it was the first time I kind of tried sort of a curry paste like that. So that was a first for me. And hopefully also realising how easy it is to look at substitutions. I've just had it all along. Like I get a recipe and sometimes I'm changing everything in the recipe to something else just to suit Bella's allergens and, you know, experiment, have a bit of fun. And sometimes, you know, it doesn't always work out, but if it does, you've got a new recipe, you know, and this I'm happy with, like it's nice. And Bella looking forward to eating it.
Don't be afraid of cooking. I think trial and error is the best way to go around.
And that's what you have to do, hey? Yeah.
Yeah.
So from everyone at Aussie, I just want to thank Free From Allergy for providing the opportunity for this show, and Coles for being a sponsor, and all our presenters, and yourself, Courtney, for coming. All of them, like we all, as I said, our medical advisory board and specialists, they all volunteer their time to support the show and just share their knowledge. And I'm just so pleased that we could bring this show to everyone, and I hope everyone's enjoyed watching us this week. And they can obviously follow our charity on Facebook and check out our website, Aussie, and find out more about us. And we also do Australian Allergy Friendly Finds on Facebook, Instagram, where we find new products, and a lot from Coles, always coming in and sharing to let people know what new products are available that might help them on their journey, like they've been helping us all these years. So,
That's
thank you.
fabulous. I'm going to do the top 8 challenge on the 8th of the 8th. I'm going to make sure I'm involved in that. I hope everyone's got some inspiration out of today's recipe. As always, I've loved being part of the show. I love hearing people's journeys, and I think you're doing a great job, Sarah, and I hope you and Bella enjoy the little stir fry once this is over.
We will. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone. See you, Sarah.